Whoa, whoa, whoa. You can't show planing the top before you get it all glued up like that. You need to take it back a step or two. Today, we finished gluing up the top. Following my original gluing strategy, I plan on gluing up 5 chunks in the first gluing, the last chunk on the second gluing, and then finally the 2 front faces along with the 2 rear faces to cover the threaded rods. Part of the challenge of this particular glue up is trying to keep everything flat when I have limited clamps that are longer than 30 inches. Certainly the old adage is true that a woodworker cannot have too many clamps. In any case, the top does end up getting a very slight pull up from center line. The amount of air across the top does not exceed much more than a 1/16 of an inch, but this amount of air does incur a fair amount of planing that has to take place. This single-threaded rod is the reason I had to do only 5 chunks on the first glue-up. The end vise will interfere with a complete pass-through of this rod. I terminated it so that it would not be visible in the completed project. I used the other threaded rods as impromptu clamps to help pull the chunks together with a consistent amount of pressure. Now it's time for the sixth chunk glue up. I had to take out the temporary threaded rod clamps, pull them back, and then reuse them once I had the sixth chunk ready to roll. If you notice, there are two threaded rod pieces in the sixth chunk. These will be explained in next week's video as we finish up the end vise, part 2. In preparation for the cover and trim pieces on both sides, I took a metal cutting blade and cut off the threaded rod. Some of it got a bit hot as this is stainless, and a bit harder to cut than standard steel. To finish off the threaded rod, I added a double nut along with red thread locker. I do not want these things to come loose anytime soon. This is the trim piece. I'm going to drill out 1-inch holes to take into account the length of threaded rod along with the double nuts. The final trim piece will cover the ugly holes. A good tip when running a spade bit like this is to not run completely through the piece, as it will most certainly cause blowout on the back side. The tip of the drill bit provides indexing when you flip your work over. Hey man, don't forget to put the double nut on before you glue that threaded rod cover. Boy, I could really use some more clamps. I would have liked to have had a full complement of clamps on both sides of this glue up, but I did what I could with what I had. As I start using clamps, you can see that I had to double up with 2 clamps in order to reach the full width of the top. This method does provide some pressure, but it seems to increase the amount of perpendicular pressure as well. Out of all the 42 layers, the very back outside trim piece was the layer that was the most out of line. I start with my scrub plane, highlighting the areas that need the most drastic amount of material removed. This work is done incrementally, marking the high spots, planing those parts down. Repeat ad nauseum until you can get everything to the same level. Yeah, that's going to leave a mark. To finish this top up, I am using my number 6 plane. I really love running this one. Something about long plane strokes and the sound of the iron cutting the wood is very relaxing to me. Next week, tail vise or end vise? You tell me. Anyways, it's going to be part 2. We're going to finish up the end vise, including the dog block. We'll be mounting the screw and finishing up with some dog holes. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.